I.S.U.P.K.
To the brothers, to the sisters, and priest and officer task war. With me, Chupasha.
Shalom.
We are I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Gen.YAHANNA. Alright? Today what we're going to go into is a topic that is scarcely understood on the face of the planet today. Alright? The Bible, which is the most controversial book on the face of the planet, has 2 things definitely on it that everybody like to skip over, which is Holy Bible. Alright? This is the record book for holy or separate people. The children of Israel, which is the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. In the Caribbean, they call Caribs and Arawaks, Amerindians, the First Peoples, indigenous people. Alright? The Bible is addressed to us and it's our record books. This is our record book, you understand? Today we're going to prove what it is we're talking about out of the same Bible, our record book, alright? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6, alright?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Alright? We are holy people, a separate people unto the Lord. Our power, go ahead.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Most High chose us to be a special people unto himself, go ahead,
above all people upon the face of the
above
earth.
every other people, every other nation or race, as today's society like to coin it or call it. Right? The Most High chose the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people who are the special people, special with all abilities, intellect, sports, physicality, mental, and to go through the most rough times, which is the slavery, and still not kill ourselves like the so-called white man, who is a punk. Every time that the road hit rough, he just kill himself, kill his family, jump off buildings, all kind of different things. We are not weak people, we are strong people. Alright, we just at the bottom of society for various reasons which we'll go into today. Alright? From there, I want you to go to Romans chapter 9 and verse 13. Alright? Yeah, so we're going to talk about why does the Lord prefer us. The Most High is racist. Call it what you want, but that's what it really is. He is selective and he prefers these blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Alright? Go ahead. Yeah. Tell me that.
Romans chapter 9 verse 13.
Go ahead.
As it is written.
As it is already written, go ahead.
Jacob have I loved.
Jacob have I loved. Go ahead.
But Esau have I hated.
But Esau the Most High hates. When you look at the story in Genesis 25, it goes into the birth of Jacob and Esau, which is 2 brothers that the Most High separate. In the scripture, in the same chapter, I tell you that they separate 2 nations and 2 manner of people. 2 different characteristics, 2 mannerisms, 2 different ideologies, thinking, ways of moving, operation. When you look at the description of Esau, he's a red man. The only people on the face of the planet that red and the blood is showed through the skin is the so-called white man today. And here we all over. Alright, as the scriptures say. Alright? So there's a difference between who the Most High loves and who he hates. He hates the so-called white man and he loves the so-called black people. When I say black, I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Alright? Give me. Go over to Ezra chapter 7, verse 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54, Babusha.
Book of 2 Ezra chapter 6 verse 54.
Go ahead.
And after those, Adam also, whom thou madest the Lord of all thy creatures.
Right? So like, pause already, right? So after Adam, who the Lord make Lord of all the creatures, everybody like to say, well, everybody come from Adam. Right? Yes? But here what the Lord saying that he do out of all the people that come from Adam. Go ahead.
Of him come we all.
Of him call we all. Go ahead.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
I pause right there. The Lord is making a distinguished phrase. He say, out of them we choose a people out of everybody that come out of Adam. Alright, go ahead.
All this I have spoken before thee.
All this he spoke before him, as the prophet is just talking to the Most High Power, because this is real. Go ahead.
O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
The Most High made the world for our sakes. That says in Solomon time, usually the whole planet. The Lord always make it for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to rule. Alright, go ahead.
As for the other people, which also come from...
Go ahead. Come on. As for the other people that come from Adam, go ahead.
Which are also come from Adam, who
Right.
has said, they are nothing.
Yeah, so here the Most High saying, he considered the other people, the other races that come from Adam also, not the people he chose, but the other races, so-called white man, so-called Chinese man, so-called East Indian man, so-called African man, because we're just dark skinned, but we're not the same people. Alright, that's why they never come and claim us. They say, well, these people was taken in slavery, whatever the case is, they are my people, and they came and claim us. Nobody ever come from Africa and made any claim to us. They call us cotton picker or a kata. But they know the difference between us. There's a cat and a dog, they have the same color, which is black if it's a black cat, a black dog, but it's two different species. The same thing with us. We are not the same, we're not Africans. Go ahead.
But be like unto spittle.
But this is what the Most High say about them. He call them nothing and they be like unto spittle, like spit from your mouth. Go ahead.
And has likened the abundance from unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
I was right in. So the Most High liken or he compares the abundance. Everybody come together, all the other heathens, all the other races, he count them as a drop that fall from a vessel or container or a bucket. If you're walking and some of your food spill on the ground, you didn't care about that. Much less for some water that come out of a container. This is how the Most High watch the other races. You don't care about them. Go ahead.
And now, verse 57.
Go ahead.
And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing.
Pause right there. You see, this is what is known through the face of the planet in Ezra's time, the prophet Ezra's time. The heathens who have ever been reputed as nothing from the beginning, they never considered as anything on the face of the planet. Go ahead.
Have become to be a lord over us.
Yeah, because the prophet in morning, it's a sad state of affairs. And so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the bottom of society. Alright? Even you're talking about the prophecy and look at happening today. Alright? That we people are the bottom of society. And these shameless, Noarians, people without a culture, without flavor, without righteous judgment, without character, have been lords over us. Imagine that. That's how far we fell from, but we're going to get to the solution in a bit. Go ahead.
And to devour us.
And to devour us. Yeah? They don't care about our welfare, health, state of mind, nothing like that. All the different systems, the same doctors and the East Indian doctors and the white doctors, whatever the case is, they never treat us with the same care or the same diligence, the same respect that they will treat with their other soulless people. Yeah? That's how much they hate us. They know who we are, according to the Bible. Just we don't know who we are. But we get into that today. Alright? From that we go to Amos chapter 3 and verse 1.
The book of Amos chapter 3 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Was right here. Hear the word that the Most High Power spoke against us, his children. The children of Israel. Go ahead.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying,
Go ahead.
You only have I known of all the families.
You what?
You only have I known of all the families.
The Most High only knows the children of Israel. He is the same. The Most High who brought us out of Egypt is the same people he's speaking about. Right? Go ahead.
Of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for your iniquities.
Just as if our fathers or mothers see us and the neighbor doing something, but they gave us an instruction and we didn't follow it, they'll cut our tail. They'll give us a licking, a correction, we get some form of punishment. The same way the Most High deals with us, because we are His children. So He just correct us. He won't correct the neighbor children. He will correct us because we is the ones who He gave the instruction to keep and we didn't follow it. So because of this, we end up in slavery, the lowest of society, lowest wages, highest abortion rate, highest in AIDS, highest in blood pressure, the list goes on. These are punishments and curses for not obeying the Most High. So the solution is ready to come back and understand how to obey the Most High. The only place you learn that is in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. Alright? From the warrior way, go to Psalm chapter 147. And verse 19, alright? So this is what we're going to show. Yeah. This is what we're going to show here. Alright? That the Most High, this is what we show you with where?
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19.
Right.
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel.
Pause right here. So Jacob is the forefather, is our forefather, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. He had 12 sons, who is now the heads of the 12 tribes of Israel today. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Alright? Indigenous Caribbean and Rock people. Same people. Alright? Jacob is who he showed his word to. He showed it and then he passed it on to his son. This is the father's word. Show the same way. That's why the earth is in this kind of state, it's in corruption, and our people and the bottom of society and facing all different types of atrocities, murdering us in the cities all over the world. We're getting the worst type of healthcare, everything like that, because the righteous judgment will only be found in the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. Alright? So understanding why you can't get justice on the face of the planet today is because the children of Israel are not in the rightful place in rulership, governing the world in a righteous state as Solomon and David did in their time, as the Most High instructed them. Alright, so that's the solution to coming back to the Most High and to get back righteousness on the face of the earth again. Without that happening, you could never see righteousness and you'll always see destruction, chaos, war, the list goes on. Alright, read on verse 20.
Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation.
The Most High never dealt so with any other race. Go ahead.
And as far as judgment,
right,
they have not known them.
And as far as the Most High judgments, they have not known them. They can't be holding people for marijuana, all these different things that they themselves engineered and show us how to do and to go against the Most High power, and then you're holding them and you want to give them 40-year sentences, life sentences, and all these different things, but you want to call your people anytime that they're in what do you call it, some kind of so-called crisis, you're calling them the same drug abusers and weed heads and meth heads, same crackheads, all of them are crackheads. You're calling them victims, and there's what do they call it, a heroin epidemic. You can't do that. You follow, but there's always be unrighteous judgment under the rulership of other races except so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in their right state of mind, being taught the right way. All right. With that, you want to wrap it up? Shalom.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to Rhythm Man Blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good break. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how did you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?